Welcome to the Online Entrepreneur Experience podcast that details the ins and outs, the how-tos, and the ups and downs of living a life of an online business owner.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Online Entrepreneur Experience. I'm Deuces. That, of course, is Mark Wilson, aka the Viking marketer. And today we're going to talk to you about resilience, what it means, how to become resilient, and everything in between. Mark, what do you think?
You better spell it though. I don't know how.
I'll try.
Resilience is a really hard word. And I was like, you know what? It's so hard. I don't know how to spell it, man.
It's a tricky word to spell. You got to start thinking I before E, except after C, and all that stuff. And it is tricky, but
back to grade 3. I mean,
yeah. So, like we were saying, resilience is a hard word, but I feel that it takes a bunch of soft skills in order to become resilient. And what I mean by a soft skill is Gary Vaynerchuk talks about them a lot, the soft skills. He talks about kindness, candor, and patience and all that type of thing in order to become resilient, because you can't always be hitting the wall and going hard at it all the time. What do you think, Mark?
Oh, 100%, man. I think so much of life gets wrapped up in soft skills. And the problem is we're not actually taught soft skills because you can't quantify soft skills. It was just like, you can't quantify kindness, right? Like no one can put that into a box. I mean, Gary says eventually there's going to be like some 13-year-old girl that comes up with some type of equation for it. But, they're honestly, like, soft skills are such a massive thing in business, but it's hard to teach them. But they're the most beneficial things. But resilience, guys, you can't get anywhere in life without resilience. And to me, the big thing with it is that comes along with patience, right? Because as Renee said, you can't just keep hitting the wall, right? Like, there is going to be resistance. I do know how to spell that word though. There's a lot of resistance that happens in life. Like, life isn't easy. And I know a lot of people like try to tell you that, oh, life's so sunshine and rainbows, all this type of stuff. And you know what? There's a lot of grind to it. You have to put a lot of reps in. And that's where like the resilience comes in. If you truly want something at the end of the tunnel, you have to have that resilience to get there. So if you want anything in life, it's just like every single athlete that you are like the biggest fan of. Yeah, and Renee's the biggest sports fan in the world.
I love the sport.
They all they all had to have some resilience throughout games, practices, injuries, all that kind of stuff. It didn't just magically happen. They wake up one morning and they were Tom Brady. That stuff doesn't happen. You have to have that resilience through the trials and tribulations, right?
Yeah. First of all, who's Tom Brady? I'm kidding.
He's retired now anyway, so he doesn't have.
Yeah, so I look at it as, well, in order to become resilient, I think it starts with the mindset. It starts with the mind, because if you are constantly focusing on the roadblock or the pain that you're going through, emotional pain, not necessarily physical pain, but the pain that you're going through in order to push past and get to that next level, it starts with the mind, because you got to start looking at things from the positive side. Like, if you are waking up every day and showing up for your kids, getting them to school, making sure they're fed, that is being resilient, because you're still struggling yourself, but you're still doing what you need to do. Now, you just apply that same principle to other aspects of your life, and that resilience, it'll show up as well.
But could you imagine not having resilience for that? Just waking up one morning, like some people do with like business adventures or like, say, relationships and those kind of things, and they just quit on them. And they just like, they wake up one morning and just like, you know what, kids? F this. I'm not doing it anymore. You guys are just too crazy for me. I'm not taking you to school. Like, you guys, you can't do that. You have this huge why and this huge drive in you that you're going to persevere through all that resistance to get the kids to the bus stop or to school or any of that kind of stuff. Even though sometimes maybe they show up in pajamas because they just fought so hard, but you push through to make that happen, right? And if you had that kind of resilience for the rest of the things in life, not just like for your kids, just imagine the things you could accomplish, right?
Yeah, exactly. I love that you took my analogy and you flipped it. Like, could you imagine you weren't resilient in something like that? Like, oh, I quit. This is a scam. This thing called parenthood is a scam.
These kids are scamming
me. Yeah, and another great. It's a hard word, but it's also has a soft meaning, like your power. Like, being powerful and stuff like that is kind of a hard word. But when you're talking about a soft skill, if you look at the power that you actually have of being resilient, of pushing past all this stuff, and a great exercise is to look back in your life at struggles that you've gone through and the power that you've been able to find to keep going and push past. Like, it could be something like as big as losing a parent at an early age. I know my wife, she lost her mother real young, and it's been hard for her, but she has pushed past, and she's a successful entrepreneur in her own right. So she goes back to that power and the fact that she was able to get past all of that to help her push through with her own business when she's getting stressed out.
I think that's awesome. And I know, like, one person that both of us listen to a lot of, which is Rachel Hollis. She talks a lot about that as like reversing back to like moments that like you almost want to manifest into your life. Like, it could be like that resilience that you had when you went through like the toughest time in your life. Or maybe it's like something that like, hey, I'm looking for a new relationship in my life. Like, I'm looking for a significant other, and I have really good friends. Like, I have a really good friend. He virtually hangs out with me all the time. So it's just like, if I wanted to go find a significant other, like, just thinking about like how grateful I am for the strength that I've had to be able to endure all the turmoil that our friendship had. No, there's no turmoil, but like to manifest kind of from that kind of taking from your past, seeing the things that you really enjoy in your life, and then pulling that into your future and how you can get through those things. I think that's just a massive way of outlooking into it, because we all have tremendous power inside of, and a lot of the times we're just not giving ourselves the credit to be able to actually impact our current state the way that we've impacted other ways. And it's just because we've never looked at it that way, or we've never done that aspect of life before. So all of a sudden you think that you're powerless, and it's like, nah, this is the same as that. You just have to take that power over here and just empower yourself with it.
Yeah. And I mean, there's lots of times where you can look back at times that you've struggled and you've pushed through and you persevered. And it's great to actually look back and apply those same principles going forward. Another really great exercise to do, this comes straight from Rachel Hollis, which Mark mentioned that both of us listen to her podcast. She takes a sheet of paper, she writes everything on the top that she wants. She folds it in three, first of all. And on the very top, she says everything that she wants. Then in the middle section, she writes her roadblocks, things that are getting in her way. And then she flips the sheet over for the bottom third and writes what she needs to do every day to reach the stuff that she wrote on the top of the page. Then she folds it up to cover up her roadblocks, and then she reads it every day. And that's how she is able to keep going forward.
I really, really love that. And I think that's so important, guys. In the end of the day, it's daily rituals that are going to take you through anything. And you need the resilience in life to be able to achieve anything that's worth achieving. Things don't happen instant gratification. like a candy bar, right? Like, oh man, I really wanted that candy bar, I got it now. Like that wasn't worth getting. That was just instant gratification, right? There's no resilience that you needed there. And that's not long-term results that you're going to get from that. Actually, you're going to have a lot of downfall afterwards, right? So in the end of the day, if you guys want to achieve things in life, you're going to have that resilience to put in these new daily rituals and everything. Like I was on a training earlier today, and I was talking about those things. Like the person that you are today got you this far. If you want to go to new levels, you're going to have to start investing in yourself every single day. And that's generally where everything starts. And that's where you're going to bring on that resilience into your life. But you have to have the patience to be able to endure all these things. Like the number one thing that leads with resilience is patience. And if you can have the patience to get to the end and put in the reps and go through all those barriers and smoke screens and issues along the way, because there's going to be some. Like it would be kidding yourself if you think that everything's going to be smooth sailing. And if that's the expectations you give yourself every single day, you're setting yourself up for like a really, really tough life. Don't set yourself up for the life of it's going to be tough. Set yourself up for the life of like, you know what? Or sorry, it's going to be easy. Set up yourself that life is going to be tough today, but I'm strong enough to endure this day, and I'm going to be so much better off because of it. And if you start saying those kind of mantras to yourself, you're going to be so much more better off than today is going to be a beautiful day. I'm going to be happy today, with no like backing or rationale of the reason why, other than just those words came out of your mouth.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a daily struggle to remain persistent with your resistance. I had to think about that one for a little bit to actually make sure it made sense coming out. But there's all kinds of different ways that we can create a daily routine in order to help keep us pushing forward. And I know there's people watching right now that are struggling with something, and they saw the word how to overcome resilience or something when they put it into the search bar, and ours came up, and now they're watching it and they're expecting a way, some easy little trick to boost their own willpower to keep going. But unfortunately, there's no easy button when it comes to achieving something bigger than yourself. There's no easy button. So that's when the daily grind comes in. That's when the daily routines, a good morning routine, and even a bedtime routine that keeps you aligned with your goals. That is how you just develop the resistance.
You know what's funny? So many people think that like, oh, the grind, I have to put in a grind to get these things. But it's like your decision of the grind. Like in the end of the day, like doing these things like the grind, routines, rituals, they may also have this like bad stigmatism to them, but just let you know, you already have them going on in your life. You're already grinding. You already have rituals. You already have routines. You may just not know because they're just so natural to you, and you just know where you are at your life. So knowing that like you can actually control these areas and they can actually be a dividend to give you yourself more in life, that's when I like it. So like I thought waking up at 5 a.m. guys was just the craziest thing in the world. And if I had choice, I would wake up at 11 every single day. Just letting you guys know I have choice, and I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. And I message Renee. Renee knows I'm up 5 a.m. every freaking morning. He gets the messages at 5 a.m. I'm up. And those are the things, but those are part of my choice, of my ritual. I'm not saying everyone has to wake up at 5 a.m., but those are the choices that I've set up that work for my routine, that helps me build the resilience and get through the things that I need to do to empower myself to have those successful days.
Yeah. What did you just say? You said everyone has their own grind that they're doing right now.
Yeah, their own grind, their own rituals, their own routines. Yeah.
Yeah. So to further that, most people are, there it is again, most people. Most people.
Normally you say you people, so you're changing, bro.
It's my daily rituals, man. So most people, when they have their daily rituals, they don't know that they have them. And unfortunately, most people are aligned with things that they don't want. You're running late for work, so you hit every single red light. I mean, that's just coincidence. It kind of happens, and it happens to everyone. It's not just you. But when you are struggling financially and you're trying to make sure your kids are fed and you can put them into the after school programs you want to put them in and stuff like that, your grind is focused on struggle. So that's why I started this whole podcast with talking about the mindset. You flip the mindset to something more positive, something that's more in line with your goal. That's when your grind changes, your rituals change, and this is how you steer in the different direction and end up with the result that you're after.
I love that. It's mirroring in your brain. Whatever you got going on in your brain will mirror to your reality. So if you have that struggle, that turmoil in your brain, then you bring that on into your life. And if you have that happiness, that abundance, that kind of thing, that next level thinking that like, hey, I can't wait for this next awesome thing to happen, mirroring from your brain will come to your reality. And the same thing goes with like sales. If you're in sales and maybe you're not confident about a certain question. And I remember when I was first breaking into the sales industry, I would be so confident about certain questions. Like, I really hope they don't ask me this question. Every time I would put that out there, they would ask me. And I didn't understand at the time because I hadn't gone through all the training I have and all the learning I have and everything like that. And what that is essentially mirroring whatever is going on in your brain will come into fruition as well. So just know that, guys, that exactly what Renee said. If you're so focused on your struggle, your turmoil every single day, and that's what is going on in your brain, you're creating that in your life as well.
Yeah, and I mean, before we hopped on the podcast today, I said something to Mark. Because a lot of people, they get onto Google, they get onto YouTube, they start
searching. How do you spell Google again?
Same as resilience.
Oh.
So they'll hop on all these search engines trying to find the knowledge to get them out of the struggle that they're in. And they are super knowledgeable. They know everything about everything. And they love that saying that knowledge is power. But it has nothing to do with resilience or getting ahead or anything, because knowledge is not power. It's applied knowledge is power. So watching this podcast is fantastic. We appreciate it, but now go apply.
Yeah. Go put it into your life.
Yeah.
Go start mirroring new things. Start changing those rituals, routines, and creating that resilience in your life. Bring on the power from your past to your present.
Yeah. Change your focus, change your life. Simple.
Love it.
Okay, I think that's it for today, guys. Just don't forget, please don't forget, leave a comment. I will be in there answering any comments that you guys leave, and write a review, and don't forget to hit that bell notification so you don't miss an episode.
Oh, 100%. And if you guys didn't watch last week's episode to the end, our editor, producer, he decided to put a little treat in there for you guys, but only on YouTube. So you guys have to go onto YouTube, go check out the end, and you'll get a little treat from your Viking friend over here.
Right on. Okay, take care, guys.
Thanks for tuning into the Online Entrepreneur Experience. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes that we're releasing and any of these amazing pieces of value that we're giving out. And if you could take the time out of your day and leave us a review, we'd be so grateful. We look forward to seeing you on that next episode.